Hello and welcome to a game between Zenio and TOP. Zenio will be playing as the yellow Zerg player at the 9 o'clock position, while TOP will be playing as the red Terran player at the 6 o'clock position. This is GG Face and the map is going to be Lost Temple. It appears that Zenio has found TOP and he also spots the barracks that is being constructed on the outside of the base. You are not seeing this incorrectly. The divisor is right here and that's where the barracks is. The barracks is on the outside. We do see the hatchery going down around 16 or so, and we should probably expect a spawning pool because he does see that TOP is going to be attacking relatively soon, probably with Marines and not so much with battle cruisers, and the spawning pool is going to go down around 15, and there's going to be another SCV. There's already one SCV inside the base of Zenio, and this SCV is going to possibly dance with that drone over here. This drone is going to be sitting at the bottom of his choke, preventing the SCV from building bunkers, and that SCV wanted to build a bunker, but it looks like the drone did prevent him from getting there, but the other SCV will build a bunker. We do see one Marine on the way to the current location, and we see a fight here between some drones and some SCVs. One SCV is still building. Ooh, now he pulls off about 7 of those drones, and this bunker should probably get cancelled as these two SCVs are going to harass with this one, and it does get cancelled. The bunker does get cancelled. It does recover a good portion of those thingies, those minerals, and Overlord does have vision of it, and these drones can't seem to make up their mind, and he is going to commit here. He is going to have pulling off 11 drones off the line, and he is going to have a lot less mineral count than his opponent. He is going to fall behind every single minute. He is going to commit to this, and this bunker is not going to get cancelled just yet. More Marines are not yet being made. He is going to switch to factory, it looks like, so he is going to stick with these few Marines. He does have 3 Marines on the field, 1 more Marine currently being made, and this SCV is still trying to finish off this bunker. This bunker is going to get... Is he going to take it down? No, the bunker is going to finish. The Marines are inside. This Marine is trying to dance around the bunker while his buddies inside the bunker are shooting at these drones and Zerglings, and he did manage to take quite a lead there. I think he does have a 50 mineral lead, but that was a lot of commotion. I think it didn't really count the canceling correctly, so I think he does have a longer lead than that. It is going to be quite hard for the Zerg to come back from this if he were not to macro up, and he looks like he is going to macro up, and this one spine crawler does have range to hit the... Ooh, that is too close. He should cancel and run away. And there's going to be more Hellions and more... Ooh, that is too close once again. He is trying to get just within range of the bunker, but not within range of the Marines. Good try there, not quite. And the army size is at 27 versus 27. Both players have about almost 20 drones, 2 Zerglings, and 1 Queen, as well as 4 Marines for the other guy, TOP. And he's trying to take down the spine crawler. I think this is the right distance for the spine crawler. The spine crawler will finish, and he will be able to take down 1 Marine. 2 hits on 1 Marine, and he's probably going to salvage this bunker as he's moving back. We do see an army going up at the base, as well as a Roach Warren inside the base of Zenio. TOP is going to be putting a tech lab, so we might see some early Thor action. Thors are always fun to watch because you can pretty much abuse this little ledge over here, because the Thor will be able to shoot this hatchery from over here or over here, so it is a really good idea. And it looks like he is going to start with the command center, and the command center is going to come alongside with metabolic boost. There is going to be an overlord to the south position and to the west position of the Terran, and the Terran TOP is going to come and scout with the Hellion. The Hellion is going to be met with 1 Zergling that will be on fire and wish he had the metabolic boost so he could run away, but he does not. Meanwhile, the vision of Zenio does not appear that he sees the starport or the armory or the factory, so he doesn't know what is coming his way. And this Hellion does manage to kill, I think, nothing that time. Will get taken down by the Queen, Spine Crawler, and some Zerglings. Army size is at 35 to 36. Mostly drones and SCVs at the moment. There are a handful of units, only some Marines and some Zerglings, and of course there is going to be the 2 Queens that constantly injects, and this Overlord is trying to come in here. He will get vision of the army, so he knows there might be a Thor on the way, but he does not yet see the starport over here. He sees the armory, he knows a factory exists, and he is going to be turning that hatchery into a lair, it appears. And metabolic boost is going to be complete momentarily, as the command center is just complete for the Terran player, and he is going to come here, and he's running to the center of the map with a handful of Marines, 2 or so SCVs, and 1 Thor. Meanwhile, in the expansion of Zenio, he is making a lot more drones, and the army count does show that the Thor is going to be super cool, and he is going to land on the high ground, and he's going to start firing on these overlords, and he's going to start working on the spine crawler that needs to be taken down, and he does cancel it. and the drone will get his money back, or most of his money back, and these Marines and SCVs are going to land right next to the Thor and probably repair the Thor he needs to land, and he's going to be able to take down that Queen. One Queen goes down, and these Roaches and Queen are not going to be enough to take down this Thor. There are going to be 2 SCVs behind that Thor repairing it. In the meantime, he is also making another Thor and more Roaches on the way for Zenio, but at this time, and for this time being, TOP does have an advantage, and these Roaches are trying to come in here, trying to snipe off this Thor. The Thor is going down, but he can pick it up if he wants. He does pick it up. The Thor is very weak, and he will be able to keep that Thor alive. He does move it back slightly, and he will be able to keep that hope alive. In the meantime, some Zerglings are rushing to the natural expansion of TOP while that Thor is getting repaired, and he could lift this if he wants, and he will lift it, and he will close the gate. Good timing there by TOP. He will not be able to take that expansion without too much of a hustle and bust, and there's going to be a fully repaired almost Thor, and a bunch of Zerglings are sitting at the bottom of that command center. That orbital command, I should say. And this Thor is going to get picked up and will be dropped off at the left-hand corner. The Ventrial Sacks are being researched for the Overlords that will allow them to possibly pick up and transport these units, and he is going to not be able to land over here. More units are being created at the moment, a lot more Zerglings and Roaches, and it looks like the Terran has secured it, and this really close to death Thor does escape it once again. He will be able to repair it. This is just really good positioning of this Thor, not moving forward, having it in a whole position exactly the distance, exactly the correct distance away from those Roaches, and the Spinecrawler is going to move up and get closer and closer to prevent that Thor from doing further damage, and the army size currently is going to be at 75 versus 90, advantage for the Zerg player Zenio as he's marching some of those Zerglings across, and there's one Zergling not really holding control tower there, and these Zerglings are going to come in, will be met with a lot of resistance, and they will go down. They will see that his opponent does have a Thor, and this Thor does get picked up once again. He will move him forward. The reason you want to move it with the medevac is because the Thor moves pretty slowly, but the medevac moves much quicker than the Thor, and he could drop it to the back once again to repair. Great play there by TOP. He is switching gears a little bit. He has put up 3 barracks, each of them with tech labs, so he's going to have a massive amount of Marauders. He's making Marauders 3 at a time, whereas his opponent is making a lot of Roaches. Roaches don't do too well against Marauders, but then at the same time, the Marauders really need to micro well against the Roaches, and the Thor is trying to come in here, and there has been another expansion at the 12 o'clock position. Not at the 12 o'clock expansion, but at the natural expansion for the 12 o'clock, and some of the Roaches and the Zerglings are going to be dropped here to finally take care of this harassment from Zenio, and TOP is going to be able to take down those Marines, but he will run from that Thor, and this Overlord doesn't actually have anything in it, and should be okay. The army size is currently at 97 versus 106, and he picked up a lot of Zerglings into that Overlord. This Overlord has only 21 HP. He might go down. Ooh, that Overlord goes down. Oh, very not good there, and this Thor might finally go down to the firing of the Roaches. The Roaches not really microing too well there as he's making a lot more units, and he's constantly getting harassed. He's also dropped some units, or he tried to drop some units into the back of the base, but he was not able to do so because there's a pack of units that are just really good against Roaches, and he had to retreat. In the meantime, he's still trying to finish off this Thor. This Thor is rank commander. He has 20 kills and will get picked up once again. He will be able to fly that Thor away. That Thor is such a hero for his race. And there is a hatchery here. The hatchery is not doing too much as the Thor looks like he is going to fly over to the other hatchery and start harassing there. Combat shield along with more siege tanks are coming out along with the Marauders for the Zerg player. We see a mix of Zerglings and Roaches, and this Thor is not quite close enough. Ooh, or maybe he didn't have vision that time. And some Roaches along with, I think, Zerglings, only Roaches this time, are going to be dropped next to this Thor, and he will pick it up and he will fly away with the medevac. And there is some Roaches inside of this Overlord, and he will try to drop the natural expansion of his enemy, but his enemy has a lot of units very close by, and the Thor does alert him, and the medevac does fly backwards, and he's not doing too much harassment. He is going to defend this from Zenio, and TOP will be able to successfully defend this as the medevac is going to fly back with that commander Thor inside of it. And this Overlord is probably not going to die anytime soon as the Thor comes over and will help and probably kill off that Overlord. And the medevac with the hero Thor does return home, and there's going to be a celebration of sorts. There's a ton of units out in the field for both players. There is going to be 13 Zerglings, a lot of Roaches, and 3 Mutalisks. And there's a pack of very, very almost dead Overlords. There's also going to be some tanks, some Thors, and a lot of Marauders. It looks like not red. It looks like TOP is going to move out. And he is going to be making more medevacs and more tanks at the moment. Income tab does show that he is slightly behind, as the Zerg player is going to be on 3 bases. And he is going to take the tower from his opponent, and he's going to start working on the gold rocks. And at the same time, Zenio is also going to work on the rocks. Even though these players don't have vision of each other's gold expansions, this is almost exactly what they're thinking. They're inside each other's heads, they know what the moves are, and they're countering it perfectly. And the tanks, along with the Marauders and Thors, are going to move a little bit, as some of the drones are being transferred to the natural expansion. We see one Overlord peeking into the base, or to the edge of the Terran's base, and Zenio does move some of the troops to the side. He wants to get a nice round here, and I think, could TOP be committing an entire charge here? He is going to commit, I think, and some of the units are getting caught off guard at the back, and there's a drop inside the base of TOP, and you can keep track of that on the lower right hand side as we follow main action on the main screen. And here's going to push in here with the Marauders. Marauders and Thors and tanks are pushing into the natural expansion. There are some Balings, but the Balings won't do too much against armor units, and there's a huge pack of Zerglings and Roaches running into the natural expansion. And it looks like the natural expansion of Zenio will go down, and I think the natural expansion of TOP will go down as well. They might be going for a base swap. A lot of Zerglings and siege tanks and some Marines are being produced, as both players are in each other's base, and the Terran player is going to march in here. He does have, I think, an army deficit, as his army is about 30 or so short of his opponent. He will come in here, will take down the main base of the Zerg player. The Zerg player, Zenio, has pretty much all of his drones mining from very few patches. He probably wants to run some of these away, but he is going to pick up a lot of his units, and he is going to fly them off into his opponent's base. Meanwhile, the Terran army is going to tear through the Zerg's base, and the Zerg's base is going to go down. Another Baling's nest there. That was a little bit unnecessary cost. I think both these players are trying to struggle, trying to think of what to do, whether or not the exchange was worth it, or how to proceed from this point on. A lot of drones are being made, and some barracks are being prepared for the battle that is to come. The main army of the Terran player is going to be marching backwards. In the meantime, there is going to be chaos inside the Terran's base, and I think the Terran player TOP is going to march to the gold expansion, or possibly to the other expansion at the 12 o'clock, because he wants to close this game out. He really wants to kill off these drones. The drones are getting shot at, the drones are going down very quickly, and he does manage to kill off a good chunk of those drones. But there is still 2 large armies that have not really met in battle. The army of the Terran player at 91 versus the army of the Zerg player at 125, not really counting the drones and SCVs, of course. There is going to be mostly Balings, mostly Zerglings, Roaches, and Mutalisks versus a mostly ground force for the Terran player. And here we go. He is coming in, surrounding from both sides, and they're going down relatively quickly to the focus firing. Not really focus firing, but the Roaches are coming into focus fire now. The Thors are going down very quickly. The Thors almost melted away as if they were an ice cream on a hot day. And I think, I'm not quite sure who's in the lead here. Both players are pretty much back to Stone Ages, as the population is going to be at 31 versus 54. The Terran base is almost completely gone after that attack from the Zerg. There's still a whole bunch of Overlords hanging out, but the Terran medevac does finally go down with the last bits of his force. The Terran player only has 2 medevacs and 1 Marine now, and I think both these medevacs are going to go down. The Zerg does have an advantage, but the Terran is going to hold firmly over here. He does have that is a lot of barracks. 6 barracks, all of them are full of Marine production, and he's going to make a lot of Marines, but Marines don't do too well against the Roaches. The Roaches are coming in here, and they're going to focus firing down the barracks, and the barracks will go down, and the factory is floating off to the side. And there's still some Zerg forces inside the main base of the Terran player TOP, as the Terran is desperately trying to stay in this game, as he's making more and more Marines. I don't know if Marines is the answer to this. He might want a tank or 2 to help against these Roaches or some Marauders, but he really doesn't have time to put down a tech lab, because if he puts down a tech lab, he will not have enough time to make the Marines, and he really needs every single unit to work correctly. And these Roaches are coming in here once again. Roaches are destroying the barracks, and the Marines are now pushing out, and the Roaches are going to engage these Marines. Both players are exchanging a lot of blows, still sticking to Roaches and still sticking to Marines, and Baling's nest is going to be constructed once again. I think this is the 3rd Baling's nest for Zenio, and Zenio is trying to finish this game off, but he can't quite seem to do it. The army size is at 31 versus 49. Advantage for the Zerg player. He does have a larger income, but the Terran player is not far behind, because he does have those mules to help, even though he has fewer harvesters. Ooh, wow. The Terran player actually has more harvesters. And there's going to be more SCVs and more drones being pumped out by both these players. There is a planetary fortress, so he will be able to hold that position if he wants. And there is an action all over the map as some overlords are going to be chasing that orbital command around. Army size now is going to be at 25 versus 48. The Terran player is holding on to dear life, and he doesn't have any. He has only one SCV per refinery, and he really needs to make some supply depots at a safe location, as there is one starport that is left here, one refinery left over there, and one factory on the side attached to a tech lab, and he also has 2 SCVs on an island making some supply depots. Let's hope that Zenio does not find that island, and these Marines are coming out to the side. We'll be able to scare away those mutalists. Army size is at 33 versus 58. The Terran player is trying to push out here. I think he should try to cement his lead, but I think he's curious about the gold expansion of his opponent. And these roaches and mutals might be thinking about engaging these Marines. The Marines are going to go down very, very quickly, and the Marines are trying to micro a little bit, trying to do some damage, but they will not really be able to do too much as they're trying to run home. Probably still will get chased down by the Zerg. And he will almost make it home, but not quite. Making it to his doorsteps, but not quite in the door. And these Marines are moving back as well. Another command center is being constructed. He is probably thinking about floating that off to the corner, as these roaches are going to take down this factory. The factory does have one tank inside, and these Marines need to save that tank. The tank is going to go down. Army size is at 38 against 79. The Zerg player is holding a commanding lead. He has gotten one expansion. The Terran player also has an expansion. This is a really weird situation because the Terran player usually has very good defense, and in this case, if he spends money on defense, he does not have units, so he can't really defend with those units, and defense are static, and this factory is going to go down unless he brings an SCV to repair. And a lot of SCVs are hopping onto that factory as more and more units are pouring onto the battlefield. It looks like the Terran player has turned it around a little bit, and he is going to need to fall back. The medevac is almost completely out of energy, but he has a lot of Marines and the tank, and these SCVs could heal the tank, repair the tank. And the Marines are focused right down on these roaches, killing them not quite fast, not quite slowly. A lot more Zerglings are coming out on the field along with Marines, and he still does not yet have any tech labs attached to those barracks, so he's only making Marines at the moment, and these SCVs will go down as well. Army size is at 40 to 74, pretty much maintaining that little balance between these two players. No player really edging out from pretty much 10 minutes ago. And some Marines are getting dropped off. Oh, they don't want to drop off there. Oh, he missed the pickup, and he's going to lose a lot more Marines. And these Marines are spread out, which is quite nice. And he does pick up the tank, and the tank is going to get saved. Great micro there by TOP, as TOP is not going to give up. He is like a turtle that is walking backwards in the hurricane, not moving too fast, but not going to give up. 31 against 69 is the count for the population, and he is going to sit here for a while as there's still no tech labs attached. The factory is going to grab the tech lab once again, and there's one Marine in the back, and that is going to die. This factory might go down as well, as this command center, orbital command, is on fire. He's trying to repair it, and there is one ship full of Marines, full of hope, going to the 12 o'clock expansion of the Zerg player, but he knows it's coming, and he is going to drop here. He might be able to kill off some drones at the same time. There are a pack of roaches and Zergling directly outside the base, not really doing too much at the moment, and he does kill off a handful of those drones, and he is coming in here. The roaches are coming inside. Oh, that is not a very good exchange for the Terran player. He finally moves the factory back in, realizing he can't really defend so many places at once. He does have this expansion, which is a little bit on fire, and there are a lot more Marines being produced at the moment. Army size is at 35 to 84. I think the Zerg player realized he can't really do too much if he kept on doing what he was doing, so he decided to back off for a bit, and he is going to harass the spawning pool on the side here, and another spawning pool is going to get constructed, so Zenio has given up on that spawning pool, and he is going to have a base at the 12 o'clock position. It is so funny, moving from the 9 o'clock position to the 12 o'clock position, and the Terran player is going to move to the gold expansion. This is like a brand new game, but the Zerg player Zenio has a huge advantage, as his opponent does not have an answer for his pretty much seems like endless income. And this medevac is going to go down, or might not go down, at 6 HP, and he will lose one Marine, but he does keep that medevac alive, and the medevac is his only hope, I think. And there's another near-dead medevac on the side here, and he is trying to harass these drones, but he will. Oh, he does get finally taken down one medevac on the side there. And I think he accidentally killed off a drone, so both these players are a little bit off their top-notch game, I would say, but they're still staying with it, and there's going to be a drop occurring on the side. These SCVs and the mules are finally going to go down, and there's a pack of roaches coming across, and he's trying to defend here. These Marines will actually hold against these roaches, but all the SCVs are pretty much gone at the lower right-hand corner expansion of the island. The island expansion, I mean, and he is going to do a push here. It might be his last effort, but looking at the army size, it would be a really tall order. And these Marines are just surrounding the Queen, giving him a hug before killing her. And the army size up 50 to 130, and here we go. The tank does get surrounded, does not have a chance to siege, and these Marines, even though they're getting killed by the medevacs, will go down. And TOP will have to call GG. That was quite an exciting game. Hope to see you guys at the next game, and thanks for watching.